Hey, it's me, Mr. X. I'm the guy behind the guide, giving you all the information you want to know and need to know about the VA claims process. Listen, navigating the VA disability claims process can be daunting, but understanding which claims are more straightforward to substantiate can significantly enhance your chances of approval. Certain conditions, especially when well documented, are more commonly recognized by the VA, hence making them easier claims to win. All right, tip number one or claim number one should be no surprise to anyone. Tamitis. All right, now why is it easier? Now, Tamitis, it's characterized by the ringing or the buzzing in the ears. It is the most commonly approved VA disability claim. Its subjective nature means that a veteran's personal account, combined with service records, indicating noise exposure, often suffices for approval. Okay, so a couple tips here. Clearly describe the onset and the persistence of the symptoms, being the buzzing or the ringing in your ears. Okay, in your service records show how, exposure to those loud noises, be it artillery or aircraft or vehicles, whether you had hearing protection or not. Okay, by mentioning that and saying that and going through all of it, it's going to greatly increase your chances for an improved claim. Okay, tinnitus, tip number one. All right, tip number two here. No shock if tinnitus is tip one, hearing loss is tip two. Okay, why is it easier? Hearing loss is prevalent among veterans, okay, due to exposure to loud environments. Now, the difference is there's audiometric testing that can objectively confirm the condition, and service records can establish the connection. Okay, couple tips here though. When undergoing the audiological evaluation, okay, be straight up. Those examiners have seen it all. If you try to fake like you aren't hearing but are, or vice versa, they can tell. And they'll just say that they could not test or that they will say that that examination is not valid for rating purposes, which then will sink your claim for hearing loss. Okay, go in, be straight up. It's got to be confirmed though. Those audiometric testing, audiological evaluations. Okay, it's got to confirm the hearing loss. But between that and the evidence in your service, be it the exposure to those loud environments, if you have both, it makes it hard to deny it. All right, tip or claim number three, scars. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Mr. X, my service connective scars, they give me a 0. And that may be the case. But it is an easy claim to win. And I'm going to give you a little tip here at the end. First, if you were cut or burned in service, and there's evidence of that in your service treatment records, then you're guaranteed to get service connected for that condition. Because in your service treatment records, it will say cut on the right forearm, laceration on the right forearm, and you show a right forearm scar to the current examiner, then yeah, it's got to get service connected. Now, here's the tip to not make it a 0. Okay, now based on the size of the scar, that's going to rate out generally at a 0. But if that scar is ever painful, then say that to the examiner. If it's tender to palpitation, painful scar, it's a 10. Now, if you are service connected for multiple scars, let's say one on your right arm, one on your leg, one for a low back, all those scars, if all of them are painful, they all get rated together, and instead of a 0, they're now a 30. Because you have multiple painful scars. Now, a 0 doesn't add up to much, a 10 may not add up to much, but a 30 is going to help you get closer to that 100 club. Okay? Another thing to consider on top of it, scars, depending on if there's other signs due to your scar, like if there's tissue loss, if there's hyperpigmentation or hypopigmentation, if it's scaly, there's all these extra features with scars that go into that rating. So if you have a nasty, gnarly scar from service, then I'm going to put in for it if you haven't already, because that's an easy claim to win. All right. Tip number 4, knee condition. Knee conditions, plural. Now, why is this easier? Okay, knee issues, such as limited flexion, are common due to the physical demands of military service. Range of motion tests can objectively measure the impairment. So, document any in-service injuries or duties that strain the knees. There's current medical evaluations detailing the range of motion's limitations. Then put that in there. Now, on top of that, okay? So even if you weren't seen or treated in service for your knee, or knees, plural, okay? If you document CMA statements talking about you're on long 20-mile ruck marches, or you worked on your feet in the hospital for 12 straight hours, and your knees were always on fire, or if you were a master parachute instructor, or have the badge, there's going to be many hard falls, hard landings that you took, right? Okay. Document all those things even while not seen in service for a knee condition, can substantiate that your current knee condition actually began or did incur in service due to the parachutist badge, due to my MOS where I had to work in a hospital for 12 hours at a time, due to I was always on the feet going up and down stairs, and now this painful motion, unlimited motion, which is now diagnosed as degenerative arthritis, began in service due to the long hours, okay? So all you have to do is, 1, have a current diagnosis from your medical provider at the VA medical center. 2, explain that, hey, this is what happened in service. That's how it relates. And they're going to order an exam and request an opinion. And then it's up to the examiner to make a determination whether your current diagnosis lines up with what you said happened in service. So, in the end, while there's a lot of intermediary steps there, okay, it can be easier to win due to all of those things. And keep in mind, not just with your knees, this could also possibly work with your back, your hips, your ankles, your feet. Okay, all of those add up and get you closer to the 100 club. All right, tip number 5 here, migraines. Okay, now, when I say migraines, I'm also talking about headaches. And no, there are differences. They are not the same thing. Okay? We've all had headaches. Some of us may have only had migraines. And I'm not trying to minimize or say that they're exactly the same, because they're not. Well, listen. With headaches and migraines, you can be service-connected for either. You can't be service-connected for them separately, because they're going to be the same thing under the DA rating schedule. But you can be service-connected for, let's say, tension headaches or migraines. Anyways, now, there's lots of different things that can go into your migraine claim. For example, depending on what toxic exposure risk activity that you did while in service, okay, or TERA. So, what TERA exposures do you have? In your service treatment records, medical records, does it say that you were exposed to fumes, solvents, gases, chemicals as part of your MOS? Were you cleaning things? Are you exposed to these? If you were in Southwest Asia, were you exposed to burning trashes and other odors and things that created your headache condition? Also, with migraines and headaches, you can have other service-connected conditions which could relate to this. Do you have tinnitus, which then is related to your migraines? Or, did it cause it? Migraines that's secondary to tinnitus. Do you have neck strains? Are you service-connected for a neck condition that, due to your neck disability, does that creeping pain go to your head? I've seen it service-connected many, many times. Okay. All these things go in to this migraine condition. Now, there's someone out there, I'm sure it's going to say, Mr. X, you're wrong. It's really difficult to get service connected for this. And in your circumstances, if not documented well, you're right. It may be a little bit more difficult for one versus the other. But if you are service connected for, let's say, Tamitis or a neck condition or have exposure, tear exposure due to your MOS or due to service, depending on where you were, and that may make it easier to get service connected for migraines. And migraines, tamed in a 50% evaluation right there. All right. So we got our top 5 easiest VA claims to win if documented well. Tinnitus, hearing loss, scars, knee condition, migraines. Okay. I'm sure there's someone out there saying, Mr. X, you know what? You missed out on this one. You could have said this or that. Let me know in the comments. Let me know which one I missed. Let's do another video. Let's make it top 10. Top 10 easiest VA claims to win. Our top 5 easiest VA claims to win 2.0. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's get involved with one another. Let's talk about the possibilities. Because in the end, I'm only here to help you. Help you get to that 100 club. Help you get service connected for those conditions which apply. All right? In the end, I think I've talked long enough. You don't need to hear me talk more. I'm Mr. X. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment about what you thought, what you would like us to address in the future. Mr. X, and we'll see you next time.